Hello Midnights. Up next, spectral whispers and enduring grudges, the timeless terrors of Japan's most famous ghosts. Let us know where you are listening from and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Even now, in July 2025, unfold across Los Angeles, California, the chilling yet profoundly poignant tales of Japan's most famous yurei, Otsuyu, Oiwa, and Okiku, continue to resonate. These are not merely ghost stories but intricate cultural artifacts, rich tapestries woven from historical anxieties, societal norms, and the universal human experience of love, betrayal, and injustice. While each spirit has its unique torment and method of haunting, it is Otsuyu, the beautiful phantom of Botan Doro the Peony Lantern, who perhaps offers the most unsettling exploration of desire's power, transcending the conventional fright of a haunting to delve into the very nature of love beyond the grave. The full history of Otsuyu's haunting begins not with her spectral manifestation, but with the intricate lineage of her narrative, a journey spanning centuries and continents. The roots of Botan Doro can be traced back to the 17th century, to the Chinese Ming Dynasty collection of ghost stories, Jian Dengxin Wanyu Tales Under the Lamplight, compiled by Chu Yu. This anthology, itself a product of literary innovation and a fascination with the supernatural in China, often presented tales with didactic, moralistic undertones, reflecting Buddhist concepts of karma and retribution. However, when these stories crossed the sea to Japan, they underwent a profound transformation. The key figure in this Japanese genesis was the Buddhist priest and writer Onryo. In his seminal 1666 work, Otogi Bokuhan Puppets, Ryoi translated and adapted several Jian Dengxin tales, consciously stripping away much of their overt moralizing. His version of Botan Doro was strategically set in the Nezu district of Edo, modern-day Tokyo, a deliberate move to localize the foreign tale and imbue it with immediate cultural resonance for the urban populace of the bustling Edo period. This early Japanese iteration established the core, unsettling premise, a sexual encounter between a living man and the ghost of a woman. In Osai's version, the focus was often on an elderly widower, Ogiwara Shinojo, making Otsuyu a figure of spectral allure rather than a pre-existing tragic lover. It is with this 1666 publication of Otogi Boko that lovelorn Otsuyu can truly be said to have been born into Japanese literary consciousness, transitioning from a foreign concept to a distinctly Japanese yurei. While Ryoi laid the groundwork, it was the genius of Sanyuti Iancho, a master Reikugo traditional comedic storytelling performer, who in 1884 meticulously crafted the version of Botan Doro that cemented Otsuyu's iconic status. Incho's brilliance lay in his ability to weave a sprawling, multi-layered narrative, adding intricate backstories for not only Otsuyu and her lover, but also for secondary characters, and introducing complex subplots involving themes of loyalty, betrayal, and human frailty. He deepened the emotional resonance, transforming what was once a straightforward ghost story into a profound tragic drama. This detailed Reikugo version, rich with psychological insight and dramatic tension, was so impactful that it was swiftly adapted for the kabuki stage in 1892 as Kaidan Botan Doro Ghost Story of the Peony Lantern. It is this extensive Reikugo and kabuki legacy that most modern audiences recognize, having solidified the tragic pre-existing love story between Otsuyu and the younger, often sickly, student Hagawara Shinzaburo. The narrative unfolds during the Obon Festival, a significant Buddhist observance in Japan, typically held in midsummer. This period is culturally understood as a time when the veil between the living and dead thins, and ancestral spirits are permitted to return to the mortal world. This atmospheric setting immediately immerses the audience in a liminal space, preparing them for the supernatural intrusion. On a balmy evening, as the festival lanterns glow, a captivatingly beautiful woman, accompanied by her maid, appears at Shinzaburo's gate. In her hand, she carries a distinctive peony lantern, its soft glow illuminating her ethereal beauty. The peony, or botan, in Japanese culture, is a complex symbol, often representing wealth, prosperity, and feminine beauty, but also dignity, honor, and a devil-may-care attitude, or even being associated with those who may not expect a proper burial. In the context of Botan Doro, it serves as an eerie beacon, a beautiful yet unsettling marker of the spectral visitors from the other side. Its soft illumination is deceptive, hinting at warmth and intimacy while guiding Shinzaburo towards a chilling reality. Shinzaburo, still grieving his lost love, is instantly captivated by the woman's uncanny resemblance to Otsuyu. Overwhelmed by longing, he invites her in, and the two spend a night of blissful reunion, their love rekindled. Otsuyu's haunting is unlike the conventional violent or vengeful hauntings often seen in folklore. Instead, it's a slow, Insidious seduction, a gradual drawing of the living into the realm of the dead, powered by an almost unbearable longing. Each night, Otsuyu and her mate arrive, their forms seemingly solid and vibrantly alive under the gentle, hypnotic glow of the peony lantern. For Shinzaburo, these encounters are moments of profound, exquisite joy, erasing the pain of his loss. However, this blissful illusion comes at a terrible, subtle cost. His physical appearance steadily declines, he grows gaunt, his vitality slowly draining, a silent, creeping indication that he is engaging with something fundamentally unnatural, something that subtly pulls him towards decay. The true horror in Otsuyu's tale is not immediately physical, but existential and psychological. Shinzaburo is quite literally making love to death, his life force slowly ebbing away to sustain this forbidden connection. The audience is held in suspense, sharing in his forbidden joy, until the inevitable, grotesque reveal. The moment of truth arrives through the eyes of his faithful old servant, who, worried by Shinzaburo's increasingly withdrawn and pallid appearance, grows deeply suspicious. One night, peering through a crack in the door, the servant witnesses a scene of unimaginable horror. Shinzaburo is not embracing a living woman, but a rotting corpse, its flesh decaying, its eyes hollow, the very embodiment of the grave. The beautiful Otsuyu and her seemingly demure mate are, in reality, skeletal remains, animated by a desperate, undying love. This shattering revelation instantly transforms the romantic fantasy into a chilling, visceral nightmare, exposing the gruesome reality beneath the beautiful, spectral facade. This abrupt shift from ethereal beauty to horrifying decay is the core of Otsuyu's terrifying power. The spectral visitation isn't about jump scares or violent attacks, it's about the erosion of reality and the subversion of life itself. Even when protected by sacred talismans, Shinzaburo is tormented by his own yearning. Otsuyu's plaintive cries from outside, her appeals to his love, become an irresistible siren song. This internal battle, where his desire overrides his instinct for self-preservation, is the ultimate terror, illustrating how love, in its most obsessive form, can be a path to self-destruction. His demise is a willing descent into death's embrace, led by the ghost of his beloved, a chilling testament to love's morbid power. The enduring power of Otsuyu's tale lies in its exploration of themes like obsessive love, the allure of the forbidden, and the permeable veil between the living and the dead. She is not vengeful, she is simply lovelorn, a testament to a desire so profound it defied the very essence of mortality. The story also subtly plays on the monster girl trope, where Otsuyu's beauty is intertwined with her terrifying, supernatural nature. While Otsuyu embodies tragic romance, the other two giants of Japanese ghost lore, Oiwa and Okiku, typically represent different, yet equally compelling, facets of the supernatural, betrayal and injustice, and obsessive repetition, respectively. These narratives, passed down through generations, form the bedrock of Japan's rich yurei tradition, each leaving an indelible mark on the collective cultural consciousness. It's important to note that yurei is the general term for a ghost in Japanese folklore, while Onryo is a specific type of yurei, a particularly powerful and vengeful spirit. Otsuyu, the phantom of the peony lantern, is defined by her core motivation of love and obsessive desire. She is utterly consumed by her longing for Shinzaburo. Her haunting is not an act of malice or revenge but an extension of her profound, unyielding affection, leading to a tragic, mutually desired from Shinzaburo's perspective union in death. Her story, refined through Reikugo and Kabuki, elevates her from a mere apparition to a figure of profound pathos, a ghost to be pitied as much as feared. Her method of haunting is primarily through seduction and companionship, gradually drawing her victim into her world. She appears beautiful and desirable, making her target complicit in his own demise. The horror escalates from the romantic illusion to the visceral shock of her true, decaying form, a stark contrast between her ethereal appearance and morbid reality. This highlights the theme of hidden decay beneath superficial beauty. Her haunting is insidious, eroding the victim's will and physical vitality over time rather than through immediate violence. The spectral visitations are nightly rituals, a relentless, captivating progression toward an inevitable, macabre union. The peony lantern serves as her primary symbolism, representing her ethereal beauty and spectral presence, a guiding light to a doomed love, but also the transient nature of beauty and life itself. The ultimate embrace of death for love speaks to the ultimate sacrifice, or surrender, to an all-consuming passion, blurring the lines between horror and a perverse form of romance, making the audience question the boundaries of desire. The emotional impact is tragic, melancholic, eerie, and strangely romantic. It evokes a sense of deep pity for both the ghost and her victim, who is often drawn willingly to his doom. Unlike the visceral terror of the other two, Otsuyu's story settles into a deep, unsettling sadness, reflecting a love that transcends mortal limitations, even at the cost of life itself. The lingering question is whether Shinzaburo's ultimate state is bliss or damnation. Her distinguishing feature is the fatal attraction where the victim actively desires the ghost, making the boundary between life and death porous and permeable through sheer will. This makes her story unique in its exploration of the human will to embrace the unknown for love, a willing descent into the spectral embrace rather than a forced one, ultimately challenging the conventional understanding of a ghost as purely malevolent. In stark contrast stands Onryo of Tokaido Yotsuya Kaidan, whose core motivation is raging revenge for betrayal and heinous injustice. Onryo, a commoner married to the cruel samurai Iemen, is meticulously poisoned, leaving her grotesquely disfigured with her hair falling out and her eye drooping, by him. He then attempts to murder her to marry for wealth. Her torment, compounded by the agony of her disfigurement and the murder of her child in some versions, fuels her transformation into a powerful, wrathful Onryo. The play, penned by the brilliant kabuki playwright Tsuruya Nanboku in 1825, was an immediate sensation, famously performed as a chilling double feature with the classical and revered Kanedehon Shushingoro, the treasury of loyal retainers, contrasting loyalty with horrific treachery. Nanboku infused the play with sensational real-life murders of his time, blurring the lines between fact and fiction to create a truly terrifying and contemporary experience for audiences. Onryo's method of haunting is active, terrifying, and psychologically shattering vengeance. She doesn't just appear, she manifests in unsettling, grotesque ways through everyday objects, her disfigured face appearing in lanterns, her voice echoing from empty spaces, her twisted hair coiling out of walls like living tendrils, even her limbless body appearing to float. She employs vivid, horrifying hallucinations, driving Iemen to paranoid madness, causing him to mistakenly kill his new wife who resembles Onryo and other innocents, thereby deepening his guilt and isolation. The haunting culminates in a series of horrific, often self-inflicted, deaths around Iemen, until he is finally driven to his own gruesome end, often hunted down by the very loyal retainers he betrayed. Her revenge is not subtle but a visceral, bloody spectacle, aimed at completely dismantling her betrayer's world, leaving no sanctuary for him, no moment of peace. Her symbolism is primarily disfigurement, embodying her immense suffering and the grotesque physical manifestation of her psychological rage, a horrifying mirror of Iemen's inner depravity and a visible scar of his actions. The lantern also holds powerful symbolism, often taking on her distorted face, an iconic visual in kabuki performances and ukiyo-e prints. Her curse is depicted as so potent that actors portraying her role often visit her grave at Miyagyoji Temple in Tokyo to pay respects before performances, fearing accidents, illness, or misfortunes during production, a testament to the enduring belief in her power. The emotional impact is one of intense fear, horror, and a strong sense of poetic justice for the wronged party. It is a story of visceral terror, brutal consequences, and the terrifying price of moral depravity and treachery, delivering a powerful punch of dread and profound, almost cathartic satisfaction at the villain's demise. Her distinguishing feature is being the most famous Onryo story in Japan, characterized by its graphic, grotesque imagery, the systematic and brutal payback, and its lasting cultural impact, spawning over 30 film adaptations alone. It is the epitome of vengeful haunting, leaving no room for redemption for her tormentor and highlighting the terrifying power of a woman's fury. Finally, Okiku of Bancho Surayashiki, the dish mansion at Bancho, represents the spirit of repetitive torment. Her core motivation is grief, despair, and an obsessive fixation on injustice, manifesting as a repetitive action. Okiku, a loyal servant girl, is typically accused of breaking one of a set of 10 precious ceramic plates, often deliberately by a master, Aoyama-tessen, who desires her or wishes to frame her when she rejects him. As punishment, she is brutally tortured, sometimes having her fingers cut off, murdered, and her body thrown down a well. There are several versions, some dating back to the 18th century, with popular settings including Heimeji Castle, where the Okiku's well still exists, or the Bancho district in Edo. In some accounts, her defiance against her master's advances is the direct cause of her torment, escalating the simple broken plate into a heinous crime of sexual coercion and murder. Okiku's method of haunting is psychological torment through endless, maddening repetition. From the depths of the well, her mournful voice rises night after night, counting the plates from 1 to 9, before letting out a chilling wail or sob at the missing 10th. This is not a direct attack, but a psychological siege, a maddening ritual. The horror lies in its inevitability, its inescapable presence, and its maddening monotony. Those who hear it are driven to sleeplessness, paranoia, and eventually insanity or death, simply by the unceasing reminder of the broken count and the underlying injustice. The sound is inescapable, an internal haunting that cannot be walled off or prayed away, short of a specific intervention. In some versions, a priest or a compassionate listener completes the count to 10 by shouting the final number, allowing her spirit to find peace, highlighting the Japanese belief in appeasing spirits and the power of human intervention to break a supernatural cycle. Her symbolism is primarily the well, her grave, her prison, and the source of her torment, a silent, dark portal from which her despair emanates, symbolizing deep-seated unresolved issues and a confinement from which she cannot escape. The broken plate is also a potent symbol, the simple, trivial object that became the catalyst for her wrongful death and eternal suffering, representing a monumental injustice born from a petty crime that spirals into horror. The emotional impact is one of disquiet, dread, and a profound sense of sadness and madness. The horror lies not in gore, but in the inescapable, cyclical nature of her torment and its psychological impact on the listener, reflecting an unresolved agony that transcends physical pain, pushing the victim to the brink of sanity through sheer sonic repetition. It evokes a sense of claustrophobia and inescapable doom. Okiku's distinguishing feature is the iconic counting motif, making her a ghost of endless, unchanging despair and relentless psychological torture, a haunting echo of a past wrong that cannot be forgotten or resolved by the spirit itself, and which infects the minds of the living. Her story highlights the vulnerability of the powerless and the lingering consequences of their suffering. In the pantheon of Japanese supernatural beings, while various yokai, a broader term for supernatural creatures, encompassing everything from mischievous imps to ancient demons and different types of yurei exist, the most universally feared and reviled category of ghost in Japan is arguably the Onryo. This designation is not given lightly, as the Onryo embodies a primal dread, a deep-seated fear of cosmic injustice and unrelenting wrath. The term Onryo translates directly to vengeful spirit or grudge spirit, and it refers to the soul of a person who died with an overwhelming sense of resentment, hatred, or intense jealousy, often due to profound injustice or betrayal. Unlike other yurei that might merely haunt a place or person until appeased, an Onryo is driven by an insatiable desire for retribution, a desire so potent that it transcends death and can even manifest as widespread calamity. The Onryo's terrifying power stems from the belief that if an individual dies unjustly or suffers immense betrayal, their spirit can refuse to pass on. Instead, fueled by a burning grudge, it transforms into an entity that seeks not just to terrify, but to actively inflict harm, illness, misfortune, and even death upon those who wronged them, their descendants, or even innocent bystanders caught in the spirit's undiscriminating rage. This wrath is so formidable that, in folklore, Onryo are often blamed for natural disasters like earthquakes, floods, fires, and epidemics, reflecting a deep-seated cultural anxiety about the balance of justice and the consequences of unaddressed wrongs. Among the various Onryo, Oiwa from Tokaido Yotsuya Kaidan stands as the quintessential and arguably most feared example. Her story, as detailed previously, is not just one of personal revenge, but of a sprawling, grotesque curse that systematically dismantles her betrayer's life and those connected to him. Her haunting is characterized by extreme psychological torment and brutal physical manifestations, making her an enduring symbol of terrifying, righteous fury. The sheer intensity and graphic nature of Oiwa's retribution, particularly as depicted in kabuki and subsequent adaptations, cemented her status as the paragon of the vengeful spirit. The persistent tradition of actors and production crews visiting Oiwa's grave to pay their respects before portraying her role is a testament to the real and palpable fear her spirit still inspires, illustrating the belief that her grudge can transcend the narrative and affect the living who engage with her story. Another powerful category related to Onryo are the Goryo, which are specifically the vengeful spirits of noble or accomplished individuals who died prematurely due to political intrigue or injustice. Their power was believed to be so immense that they could cause widespread disasters, leading authorities to enshrine them as kami, the deities in Shinto shrines, to appease their wrath. While technically a subset, Goryo embody a similar, deeply feared power to bring calamity. Modern Japanese horror, particularly the J-horror genre, has largely popularized and solidified the image of the Onryo globally through characters like Sadako Yamamura from The Ring and Kayako Saiki from Ju-on the Grudge. These contemporary Onryo, typically depicted as women with long, disheveled black hair and pale faces, emerging from wells or other confining spaces, draw heavily from the traditional Onryo archetype, particularly the visual tropes established by Oiwa and Okiku. Their undiscriminating and contagious curses, often spreading through objects or places, amplify the terror, making them not just personal tormentors but agents of widespread dread. In essence, while other yurei or yokai might be mischievous, sorrowful, or even alluring, the Onryo is feared because it embodies pure, unadulterated, and relentless wrath born from injustice. Its motive is not to merely exist or elicit fright, but to actively destroy and consume, making it the most potent and terrifying manifestation of the supernatural in Japanese folklore. The fear of an Onryo is the fear of suffering an unbearable wrong and the terrifying, inescapable consequences that follow when the boundaries between life and death collapse under the weight of an eternal grudge. In conclusion, while all three ghosts, Otsuyu, Oiwa, and Okiku, are cornerstones of Japanese supernatural lore, each offers a distinct narrative and evokes different emotional responses. Otsuyu's tragic romance is a stark contrast to Oiwa's fiery vengeance, which exemplifies the Onryo's destructive power, and Okiku's maddening lament. Together, these stories demonstrate the rich diversity and profound psychological depth of Kaidan, with each ghost serving as a mirror to different human fears, desires, and the enduring power of the spectral world, captivating imaginations from the bustling streets of Edo to the quiet hours of a summer night in Grevenbroich. The enduring popularity of these tales, their constant adaptation across various media, speaks to their timeless appeal and their deep resonance within the human psyche, reminding us that some stories, like some spirits, can never truly die. They are not just tales of terror, but profound explorations of what it means to be human, and what happens when humanity's darkest impulses or most profound longings spill over into the realm beyond life itself.